Hey Max, I can't hear anything.
That's because we're still muted because it hasn't started yet.
Oh, well, I unmuted myself. I thought I'd be able to hear.
No, to start. Still some folks sitting down and stuff.
Okay, thanks, Max.
We should at least get some hold music.
It's about 6:10. Thank you for being patient with the delay here. We're going to open the meeting officially. Roll call.
Tucker Whitman.
Here.
Andy Dennison.
Yep.
Ben Vitale. Chris Petrus.
Present.
Paul Pickney. Keith Batman. Hans Petcher. Mark Strong.
Here.
Heidi Nightingale. Elaine Daly. Tricia Kerr. Tricia Kerr. Michael Didio. Tim Lattimore.
Here, but not for long.
Ryan Foley. Ryan Foley.
Doesn't appear to be here, Sheila.
Okay. Aileen McNabb Coleman.
Present. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for a moment of silence. Thank you.
Our sincere condolences to the family and friends of Paul Vigiano, former Cayuga County legislator. Proclamations. Aurelius Volunteer Fire Department, 75th anniversary, November 19th, 2021.
Up next on the agenda, it's actually not present in the agenda that legislators have, but we have a very important presentation today that's going to take place here in Chambers. I'd like to welcome Senator Pamela Helmy to present the Veterans Hall of Fame Award to a distinguished recipient from District 7 here in our county. So I will let you take it away with your presentation.
Thank you, Chairwoman. This is such an exciting night. I want to thank all of you for giving me the opportunity to be here. Each year in the New York State Senate, one veteran from each of the 63 Senate districts is selected for induction into the New York State Senate Veterans Hall of Fame. And every year, the way that works in the 54th Senate District is I open up to the community the opportunity to make nominations, to nominate veterans for consideration. It was just absolutely incredible. We had 85 nominees from the 6 counties that make up the 54th Senate District. Collectively, these men and women have served our country across 4 continents. They represent the United States Army, the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, the National Guard, and Reserve branches. They have served in virtually every major United States military conflict over the past 80 years. From the coast of Japan to the sands of Western Europe. What's really striking to me is that out of these 85 veterans who were nominated, 15 of them were World War II veterans. It was just such an honor to be able to recognize them and all of the veterans. We also recognize 7 Korean War veterans, over 20 Vietnam veterans, and 16 veterans who served in more recent day Middle Eastern conflicts. And I brought a few books with me. Each of the veterans had such a unique and interesting story to tell. Many of you know I'm from a military family, and the one thing I've learned from my own family members, and any of you who are veterans, you could probably attest to this, nobody really likes to talk about their experience, right? They don't, sometimes they'll share general information, but they don't go into detail about their experience. So when we get these nomination forms from the community members, one of the opportunities we have is to capture those stories that they've shared with us, and we put them together in a book. I brought booklets with me tonight for anyone who's interested. But I'd encourage you, if you are interested, read these stories. I'm telling you, it is absolutely amazing. You'll see that some of our veterans were prisoners of war. Many were wounded during the course of their service, and some paid the ultimate sacrifice. It's really and truly a testament to the commitment of the men and women of this area and their love for this country and the respect for the freedoms. So for anyone who wants these, Joshua and I have extra copies. But why I'm really here tonight, why I'm really excited is because my selection for the New York State Veterans Hall of Fame this year is from right here, as the chairwoman said, in Cayuga County. And that's why I really and truly appreciate you giving me this opportunity to make this presentation tonight. So my inductee is Master Chief Mark A. Wilmot, and he was nominated by our Sheriff Brian Stank. So I'd ask you both to please come forward. Well, it's okay. I just wanted to share with you a little bit about Mark. And I know how much you love this. And this is just a condensed version of Mark's service and his experience. U.S. Navy Master Chief Mark Wilmot enlisted in 1990. After basic training, he completed hospital corpsman training at the Naval Training Center in Illinois. Upon graduation, Mark was detailed to California, where he passed highly intensive training to become a Navy SEAL. Over his career, Mark served with the 2nd Force and Battalion Reconnaissance Marines, SEAL Team 4, Navy Special Warfare Unit 2, Navy Special Warfare Development Group, Navy Special Warfare Tactical Development Squadrons 1 and 2, and plank owner of Naval Special Warfare Tactical Development Squadron 2. Mark served on the executive staff of the Joint Task Force National Capital Region in Arlington. His last command was the Joint Special Operations Command in Fort Bragg, where he served as the Operations and Training Senior Enlisted Advisor. During his career, Mark became a seasoned combat leader in special operations. He completed over 18 combat deployments with distinction. For his service, Master Chief Wilmot received a Silver Star, the 3rd highest military combat decoration that can be awarded to a member of the United States Armed Forces. Woo-hoo. He also received the Purple Heart. I think we gotta stop right there.
Is also known as the Enemy Marksmanship Award. So if you don't get awarded it, you're just a recipient of it. For the record.
Mark is trying to make light of it, but we all know what it stands for. And there is a long list of additional commendations and awards that Mark received. But I want to say on behalf of all the people of the 54th Senate District, and I think I can speak for everyone here, we are just so truly grateful and thankful and appreciative of your service. And it's such an honor to present you with the Veterans Hall of Fame.
Senator, can you take your mask off for one picture?
I'm okay with that. And I do want to thank again the sheriff for taking the time to make the nomination. There is no way that I would have this type of opportunity without people from the community making these nominations. Again, this is something that we do annually, so I encourage all of you, if you know of a veteran, please nominate them. And like I said, we recognize every single person who is nominated. And thank you to all of you who served, and happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Madam Chair, the senator is nice enough to hold at City Hall this ceremony too, and it's a joy to be there.
Can I just say quickly, thank you for letting us come tonight and do this. I did check with our chair, and I appreciate the opportunity to do this here. I certainly appreciate Senator Helming recognizing our veterans. When you look through that book, if you have the opportunity, it's amazing the stories that you'll see of all of the veterans that we have here in the 54th district. And I don't know how she was able to pick one, but I know that she picked the right person. I've never seen somebody so dedicated and committed to everything that they do. Thank God he's dedicated and committed to fighting for our freedom. So thank you, Mark.
Any person that raises their hand and commits to the Constitution and commits to this country and stands on the opposite side of evil and says, not on my watch, they're all heroes, not just me. That's what makes this country great, is that we have the people that will dedicate their lives and give their lives if necessary in support of our Constitution and our national policies. And that was selfless service I was proud to give, so I could survive it and come back to communities like this with people like you to be able to do the work of our great community here. I mean, at 30 years, I went around the world. I came back home. This is home to me, my beloved home. So thank you.
I really appreciate the senator for contacting me and the sheriff, and to have the ceremony here today to present the award. We're very fortunate that we have dedicated citizens within our community and our county to sacrifice their lives for our freedoms. So that was very nice, very moving. Up next on the agenda, we have privilege of the floor. I believe we have, I know one person here who would like to have privilege of the floor, a familiar face. Please state your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes.
Keep it under 3 minutes. Patrick Mahonek, 2 Frederick Street, Auburn, New York. Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you to all the legislators. I know this has not been a tough, it's not been an easy time. And I appreciate everything that you guys have done in going through a pandemic and how you handle every situation. I especially appreciate the leadership of Ms. McNabb Coleman. She's done a very great job of getting information out there, and that's all good. I was a little upset, not upset, a little taken aback by the article that was in the paper on Sunday about a $40,000 resolution to go to Barton and Judas to look at this building. I urge you all to look back at what we've already done. I believe when I was here, there was 716, don't hold me to that number, but there were 716 violations, fire building code violations in this building. So I don't think we don't need to look at it and say this building needs to be addressed. What we need to do is move forward. My fear is we pay Barton and Judas, and Mr. Batman, you know, you said that, you know, we're going to do it the right way. The right way may take us through 2022, through 2023. This has been going on since I was here. It was going on in 2016. It was going on in 2018. Let's stop kicking the can down the road Let's address the issue as it is. We know that this building is not suitable for what it is doing right now. It's not fair to our employees. It's not fair to you. It's not fair to our community. There was a plan that they were going to build in the parking lot. And they were going to move people 5 floors as the building was constructed. I urge you to go back to that plan. I urge you to look at what we've done in the past and all the information that we have had. I don't want to continue to kick this can down the road. So I'm keeping it under 3 minutes. How much more? Because I can keep
I
going.
wasn't keeping track. So.
So,
It's
I
a
just urge
freebie.
you to look at the information that we already have.
Yeah.
And we know this, the building's a problem. It needs to stay in the center of downtown. We know that as well. It doesn't need to go on County House Road. How we do it should be the focus, not what's wrong with it. And that's what looks like the study is going to look at, is what's wrong with the building. So let's just look forward and make sure that we do the right thing for everyone. Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
May I, this is unrelated to anything.
Yes,
But
absolutely.
I got these from Senator Helming's staff, and he didn't have enough booklets for anyone that wanted, but left some cards. So if anyone wants one of the booklets, all they have to do is call the office and one will be provided.
Sure.
So I'm gonna leave those with Max. And
I
then
was going to say, you can
maybe,
also,
you know, if you want to make a couple bucks. you know.
you can also contact me in my office and we can, oh. And you can also email me or call me and we'll, Max, and we can get a hold of the senator's office and get more bucks for sure. Thank you. Next, go ahead.
Minute- Minutes to approve. October 26th, 2021, November 18th, 2021.
Second.
Any discussion on those minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? They are carried. Thank you.
Appointments and reappointments. College Board of Trustees, Tricia Kerr, 160 Genesee Street, Auburn, New York. Her term would be 7/1/21 to 6/30/28.
You get a motion
Move it.
in a second?
Nightingale second.
Okay, any discussion?
Are they normally 7-year terms? Just curious.
I believe so.
I thought it was 6. That's the only reason why I'm asking. I didn't know if it was a misprint. Sorry.
It is 7. Mr. Lattimore, discussion?
I believe Trish has served up there filling out one term or an unexpired term. But she's a great choice to go on college and voting for her reappointment.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That is carried. Thank you.
Communication and announcements, there aren't any. Thank you.
Thank you, Sheila. Up next is the Cayuga Community College Report with Dr. Durant. Do we have him online today?
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Great. Good to be with you. Yeah, to answer that question, it is a 7-year term set forth by Ed Law. And I think that we have reviewed and clarified to ensure that all previous appointments align with that. I think there had been an issue in the past where it was there was an error in the time, but it gets complicated, as you can appreciate, because the system is that trustees, if someone resigns midterm, the new appointee comes in and fulfills that term and then gets, so it's sort of the rolling dates can create some confusion sometime, but we're reviewing them and verifying them. Hopefully that helps.
Thank you.
I'll be brief tonight as well. Over the last month, we've been able to hold 2 in-person recruitment events. those are the first sort of major open houses we've been able to have in the last, year and a half. So that, it felt great to be able to welcome prospective students to our campus in Auburn as well as in Fulton. We continue to finish the capital project on our Fulton campus with the Advanced Manufacturing Institute. Continues to be on schedule. We're hopeful that will be fully completed by the end of December as we move forward. And we're also, we know that you have supported us in the past, and one of our recent, investments has been in athletics. And so I just highlight to the legislature that this fall and now we're continuing to search for a new athletic director as we continue to move out of the pandemic and look to build and rebuild our athletic programs. We'll be identifying, new leadership to fulfill that role as we move forward. And lastly, I just want to, ask you for your support for the capital resolution that's in your packet this evening. We were able to secure local share funds from our college foundation as well as our FSA to improve some of the HVAC on our Auburn campus, a priority of ours and one of our major deferred maintenance initiatives. So this is not something we're asking the county for any financial support for specifically, but your approval that will follow. Our Board of Trustees have already approved this, and we'll continue after this to advocate for inclusion in the state budget to get a match of that local share to be able to do the project as early as this summer. So I appreciate in advance your consideration and hopeful of your support. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I think you'll be surprised to know Tim Lattimore has a question.
Doctor, it's so nice to see you. I'm only going to be around for maybe one other meeting. I don't know if you're going to make the December meeting, but I'd like to congratulate the college on the nursing program. I think you got some state award for that.
Yeah, we've received some state awards of our, ranking in the top of the state for the results of our graduates on the NCLEX exam, and that's something that we're very proud of.
We can't expand that program at all. And nursing, there's a big shortage.
We know this is a major issue. We have recently expanded our cohort in nursing. We know there continues to be a shortage. We're actually seeing a drop in our applications for that program in recent years as well, in the last year anyway. So we're increasing some marketing. Our biggest concern with always expanding that program is there is significant cost associated to the college that we've talked about in previous times, because of finding the qualified faculty members to meet the accreditation standards and the small classes and so forth. But we have been meeting internally to determine possibilities for reaching more students and graduates to, because we know that we're a critical piece of the pipeline for the local health departments and local hospitals to ensure the shortages that exist. So we're committed to that, and we know that it's a difficult one to address.
And the second part of my question is the NASA platform. How are we doing there?
I appreciate the question and the commitment to the NASA platform. We have had some internal discussions recently, obviously, about our credit bearing program that has nothing to do with the NASA platform. And as from the IGT perspective, separate from the college, we are looking to have a meeting here within the next month or so to talk about what next steps may or may not exist for IAGT and be able to see what the next steps could be. So, perhaps in December, I'll have an update for you.
That would be wonderful, Doctor. Thank you very much. And you have a nice Thanksgiving.
Yep. I appreciate that. You all as well.
For Dr. Durant this evening? Okay, Dr. Durant, thank you so much for joining us, and please have a good holiday.
Thank you, you too.
Okay, up next on the agenda, we have committee reports and individual legislative reports. Anyone would like to report out? Did you have something?
Yeah,
Mr. Latimer?
under the deaths, Jerry Cedar, who will be buried in Arlington. He was a graduate of the Naval Academy, and his brother was Paul Cedar, who was a member of this body. So I'd like to have just a little recognition on him next week.
Thank you. Okay, any other? Up next on the agenda, we have the chair report. Put together some items here I wanted to share with you. The response to COVID is ongoing. I participated in a state call with the governor and other county leaders this past Sunday to discuss the rise in cases across the state. I do know that yesterday Erie County Executive put a mask order in place for that county, for everything, for bars and restaurants and gyms and stores and everything. Today, the health department and I participated in another state call. The state is interested in a more tailored approach to mitigation efforts and prevention of the spread of COVID, and also vaccine, both boost and getting that going. We are together completing a survey to return to the state. I've let state partners know that I'm interested in more rapid testing availability so our residents can make sound decisions when deciding whether to attend events and gatherings of any kind. Please consider, if you're not yet vaccinated, please do consider that. That is a tool that we did not have last year at this time. And we entered into a very, very dark time for several months, and we don't want to do, a repeat of that. The Delta variant is a different variant, and if you were vaccinated at the very beginning, you do need a booster. So please look up whether or not you need the booster. I found out the J&J vaccine is only good really for 2 months. So members of my family who had the J&J went and got their boosters. Today, my family got fully immunized. So I feel better for my own family getting into the holiday season. So please consider that, because that is a tool we did not have. At the Board of Health meeting today, it was reported that cases are up. In August, there were a total of 746 cases in our county. In September, there's a total of 1,077. In October, there was a total of 799. And so far in November, we're at 662. So they are just continuing to climb in our area. So please be mindful as you're gathering and making decisions for yourself and the family. Of those cases, we are seeing that 65% are unvaccinated. So we definitely seeing breakthroughs going on as well. On another topic, which I welcome, the response to flooding continues. Waters may have receded, however, the aftermath remains. Soil and Water and the DEC are helping with mitigation efforts along with legislators. And I know Mark Strong has done a lot in his area, especially in Locke, and Mr. Petcher too, it's his district. So along that vein, I attended Tier 3 emergency management training at Cayuga Community College last week. Bill Correa from New York State Department of Homeland Security Emergency Services and Cayuga County's emergency manager Dale Courier presented the course. It was a 3-hour course. Please look for these offerings in the new year. We hope to get something in the early spring for all new legislators and existing legislators to attend. It's very great information to understand. When we are in the middle of this pandemic, to know what emergency orders do, what emergency declarations can provide for our area. So it's important training to attend. So we'll let you know when those offerings are available. Tomorrow, I will participate in a meeting about future funding for Deauville Island and the upgrades and reactivation of that island. So I will keep you posted about any funding opportunities. But that has been ongoing. So I, hopeful for a good meeting tomorrow. Yesterday, Brenda Wyman, Lynn Marinelli, and I met with Christopher Community about space in the Boyle Center for potential use by our Office for the Aging. Currently, they are located in this basement. I encourage all new legislators to pay a visit to Brenda Wyman and her staff in the basement. It is very cramped. It's certainly a difficult place for the public to access information in that office. It's difficult to have conversations in that office. It's difficult to get a wheelchair through that office. So I encourage you to go check out that space. And I will update you on any plans moving forward if we are able to access additional space across the street. We are in talks now about doing another round of the restaurant voucher program. This group had enabled a certain amount of money to get into the program, so we do have leftover money for this purpose. Don Carr is looking into this. We did send out a survey. We got folks shored up from the last time, from the first time that we've run through. So those businesses have been shored up and reimbursed. So we're ready to activate it again. We were hoping to do that before the holidays, in case folks would like to use gift cards as gifts. Certainly a great opportunity. We had a lot of great feedback from participating restaurants. Mr. Latimer, I know you did some outreach too with the restaurant voucher program, so appreciate that. The hiring committee for HR has been reviewing applications and participating in interviews. We hope to present you a selection next month. This has been quite a process, and I appreciate everyone who's been involved to take the time to look through all these. We've been going through a lot of interviews for a lot of key positions. This one is a very important position for our county. We've been operating for a while now without an HR director. We hope to be able to present you somebody next month and get moving in that. And that should be coming. Don Carr, Gary Duckett, Lynn Marinelli, and myself, we went to Seneca County to see their buildings and discuss their organization of all their departments. Mitch Rowe, their county manager, walked us through and answered many of our questions. It was interesting to see what they've been through in order to get to, and what they're currently going through in order to modernize their buildings. And they are trying to do some consolidation for some efficiency as well. So it was really great to have these conversations. Their facilities manager did a great job, and Don Carr and Lynn and Gary were instrumental in having this meeting and facilitating this conversation. So I appreciate their efforts with this. Tonight on the agenda is a resolution to award a firm for organizational needs and structural assessment of the county office building. This has been talked about for years, as Mr. Mahonek did allude to. We just did a walkthrough of county floors before this meeting. A few legislators were able to join. Myself, Jen Marshall, took us on a tour of the 4th floor. Some of the reactions from legislators present. Perhaps Heidi, I don't know if you can give us a quick summary of what you saw, just to kind of update. And I will offer another walkthrough again for folks to make it. But
first of all, very cramped space, in spaces that should be very confidential, given the nature of the Department of Social Services and the clients, families, children that we're seeing, but also overhead and underneath, where we walking and standing, levels of abatement, control of asbestos issues, office space that is cramped and shared beyond any truly working ability to do work in confidence and confidentiality but also to enjoy the daily aspects of work life, including eating at one's desk, the need to pay for small areas of refrigerators and microwaves paid for by staff and situated right outside critical areas like supervised reunion rooms with children and families and their very own sectioned off office space. And when I say sectioned off, I'm talking about quarter, mid-high section, core board, not true blue offices, only a few secure offices, only one conference room for the training of multiple staff, training and confidential meetings. There's not even a conference room for families and staff. Unfortunately, many conversations have to actually happen between adults involved in the social service system and their caseworkers right outside the hallway, past the elevators, so there's no confidentiality. Something that I know that we all as legislators would see as egregious to essentially what those workers work by, which is the Human Services Code of Ethics. And we're not able to provide that at this time for them in that space.
Thank you. I put you on the spot, so thank you for that. Yeah, we talked about the secondary level of trauma for our employees who are helping families through the probably most terrible time of their lives, helping children through the most terrible time of their lives and through this trauma. We have a small room for children to play in that's, maybe in 6 by, maybe 8 by 8, if that's maybe too generous. It just goes to show that we can do better for our employees, for the public. Just a couple of other people were saying that just was depressing, was reflecting the sadness of what is happening in the community, that they have to access social service, this particular child protective or adult protective, and it was sort of reflective of the sadness of that, the space itself. So it's a tough space. We have 3 floors of that here. So this has been abated, this floor up here. So I just wanted everyone to know, especially new folks, that's not what the rest of this building looks like. So I encourage you to set up an appointment, because a lot of this locked doors, to go through and see for yourself, what it's like here and how the public is accessing the building and what we're doing, what we can provide for them. So yes, this award is for a study of the organizational needs. They're going to look at the organization of all of the county, especially those in ancillary buildings. They're going to do a space analysis here and a structural analysis. Mr. Mohnick did reference, I believe it was Wendell, was it that report? The Wendell report from a few years ago talked a lot about energy audits and structure, which of course we do have a lot of violations. Gary Duckett will tell you that. I think he tells us that every month in his report. It's no question we have to do something. The question is, if we renovate this building, who stays and who goes? And then if we do have folks stay and different departments stay, how are they going to be organized? What's the flow of traffic going to be? What are the elevator systems going to look like? What is the HVAC going to look like? How can that be designed? Do we need an additional building to house a particular department, like Department of Social Services? Should they be in their own building? And should that be a new building? Are there lease spaces available downtown that we're not accessing? There's a lot to consider, and that's something that a third party can objectively do with their expertise. So, but that is something I know we've discussed before as a body, and that we're going to vote on this evening. So, but I appreciate you being available for the tour.
One of the things that I found most startling, while I understood there's cramped space and they're being as creative as possible, we have attorneys working in closets, for instance. But there are windows that are taped up and full of, foam material to keep out rain and snow.
Yes, you can see that in my office if you put stuff. But yes, so it's something very important to vote on this evening. In addition, on the docket for the rest of the month into December and to the new year, we have certainly a laundry list of items. We have to talk about the ARPA funding that's coming our way, that is here, and then additional funding coming our way, and what is our plan for that. I will be talking about that next month. We're working on a pandemic plan. We put one in motion that sort of in the throes of the pandemic. We're revisiting that plan. We work with CSEA and our other employees to perfect that plan. The infrastructure bill has passed. We need to talk about how it's pulling down some of that money for Cayuga County and how is that money going to look for us and where we're going to spend it. We're working on the compensation plan. I'd particularly like to thank Keith Batman and Elaine Daly for their work, and Paul Pinckney for their work, and Tim Lattimore for their work. Thank you. We are kind of working on ideas for compensation in order for retention and attractiveness of the county for our workforce. Working on kind of reinvigorating and reestablishing the safety committee for this building. We have continued response to COVID, and then the building assessment process would be beginning after tonight's meeting if we pass this resolution. So that would be an entire process unto itself. So that concludes my report. Do you have any questions for me?
Can I mention something, please?
Go ahead, Andy.
In case you haven't told anyone or nobody knows, I spoke with Mr. Palermo and he's supposed to be getting out of the hospital and going home on Thanksgiving Day, which is a great thing.
Thank you. Yes, we've had a lot of changes up here in the 6th floor. We have a lot going on. So yes, that is welcome news. I did get an opportunity to speak with him earlier today. He sounded in great spirits, and of course, in his very positive, upbeat, as I like to say, the Palermo colored glasses way. So it was really great to hear from him. Thank you, Andy, for bringing that up. Any other questions? Yes. Go ahead.
Well, I know Mr. Mahonick was talking about this building, but I think we also took a little walk over probation a year or two ago, or maybe even longer. Their space was cramped, but I know that there were some decisions made by the city or going to be made in regards to their city court being rented out of our old post office building. So somehow I hope that we can reimagine the space that we have in all our buildings and hopefully give people decent space in order to operate and do their job.
Thank you for bringing that up. I have been in conversation with Jay DeWestphalier about that space, and we are going to get together and probably next week and talk about opportunities within the county that we have available. Thanks for moving that forward. Any other questions? Okay, great. We're going to move on to resolutions.
I'm going to stop so she can share her screen.
Okay.
Sheila, do you have an opportunity to share your screen with the resolutions packet at this point?
Thank you, Sheila.
Okay, let's begin with Ways and Means. Legislator Bettman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Ways and Means has 13 resolutions. I would suggest that we go to 1 through 10, and 12, and 13. If someone wants some of those separate. So anyone want any of the others separated? In that case, we get a motion about 1, 2, 4 through 10, and 12 and 13.
I'll move it. Second.
Okay, discussion on these resolutions. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those are carried. Thank you.
The Ways and Means 3 is the authorizing implementation to transfer a function for a number of positions from the Treasurer's Office to the Finance Department. As recommended by the Treasurer and the Director of Finance. We get a motion for that.
Move it. Second.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That's carried. Thank you.
In Ways and Means 11 is authorizing the chair to execute the agreement that we've been discussing on the building feasibility study.
Move it.
Second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion on this? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Mr. Foley's here. Any opposed?
Oh, Whitman's,
Sounds like Andy. Whitman. Mr. Petrus. That is carried. Thank you. Okay, all set. Thanks. Health and Human Services, Legislator Daley.
Health and Human Services had 5 resolutions this month. They've been through committee and they've been approved, all of them. Make a motion to bundle from HH1 through HH5 unless anyone wants one of those separated out.
Point of order, I guess. The HH3 has already been passed at the special meeting. I don't think we need to vote on that again, do we? No. So I would move the bundle 1 and 2 and 4 and 5.
Mr. Petrus.
If it's okay with council, I'll just stipulate that out of abundance of caution, let the record reflect that I am abstaining from HH5.
Thank you.
Same here, Madam Chairwoman.
Thank you, Mr. Foley.
Oh, there's.
Should we have a bundle for 1, 2, 4, and 5? Can we get a motion on those? Second,
Not yet.
discussion on these. 4
Can we,
resolutions.
can we see the list of them? All I have in front of me is HH4. I'm confused here.
Sheila, do you have the resolutions for the,
They're here. Andy, which one do you want to see? This one?
They're normally listed in the whole, the whole list of them, so you can see them all.
On the agenda where they're.
Yeah, Sheila, I could share that if you would like.
Oh, they don't want to see this part of it, just the agenda? Is that what you're
Yeah,
saying?
What it sounds like to me.
Okay. Go ahead and bring yours up, Max. I'll stop share.
Is that what you meant, Andy?
Yeah, it's just easier to read them when you bundle them, that's all.
Absolutely.
Great job, Max.
all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? They are carried. Thank you. Okay, up next, we have government operations with Legislator Foley.
Madam Chair, Government Operations had 6 resolutions. GO3 was pulled by Sue at committee for not being needed. And so I'll present GO 1, 2, 4, 5, and 6 as a bundle unless anyone wants one singled out.
Second.
Discussion. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you. Legislator
Thank you.
Pinckney for plan.
Madam Chair, planning has 2 resolutions before you. I'll offer as a bundle.
Did we get a motion on the bundle? Mr. Patton,
I'll second.
second by legislator Daley. Any discussion on these? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Those are carried. Thank you. Okay, up next, we have Public Works. Legislator,
Madam Chair, I got one question on going back to government ops. Mark, did we appoint the new director of Veterans Affairs?
By the looks, I believe he was appointed. You would have to ask either HR or Mr. Foley.
Yeah.
I believe.
Just pass the resolution. Appoint
I
a
know,
new
but-
director.
I think there was some discussion that we were gonna meet him. He's a fine gentleman. I think he'd be a great asset to our community and to the Veterans Office. Thanks for bringing him. Thank you.
Legislator Whitman, Public Works.
Public Works has 5 resolutions. I would like to offer them as a bundle unless anyone would like one singled out.
Move it. Second.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Public Safety, Legislator Vitale.
Madam Chair, Judicial Public Safety has 2 resolutions. Both have been through both committees. Been through Ways and Means. One was added at Ways and Means. I'd like to offer them as a bundle.
Thank you. Second on the bundle.
Thank you.
Any discussion on this bundle? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That's carried. Thank you. We have Ledge 1 and Ledge 2. Ledge 1 is a resolution regarding the 2021 Cayuga County Shared Services Plan. And Ledge 2 is the fixing day and notice for a public hearing to adopt a local law for the year 2021. A local law providing for salary increases for certain county officers and officials appointed for a fixed term during their term.
I'll move them as a bundle.
We have
Thank you.
a
Second.
second discussion on these. Hearing none, all in favor? Any
Aye.
opposed? Sorry. Those are carried. Thank you. Up next, we have an executive session regarding contracts. For anyone on the phone, I don't believe we sent a link, but I will contact you. And then so you can join us in the discussion. Shouldn't take very long. And then we will return and we will conduct business upon return. Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we do. Can I get a motion for executive session? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
So are we getting sent a link then?
I think so, Andy.
Yeah, Aileen said she would send one.
So we need to leave this then and go look for an email.
The way I understood it was she was going to call us once they got into executive session.
Oh, okay.
I could be completely wrong.
I'll text Petrus and tell him to let me know if we're supposed to get out and look for.
You're exactly right. Aileen is gonna contact you via phone. Same for you, Andy, as well. There was no 8x8 link for the executive session today.
You know, history's gotta know.
Exactly.
Hey, Max, did she give you any idea how long they'd be?
Sheila, she did not. Would it be helpful if I tracked her down and asked before they got too far into it?
Meh, it doesn't matter if they're going in there, they're chit chat. They usually probably last, it'll either be a half hour or hour. Hopefully not more than that.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna wait for everyone to get back.
Madam Chair, is the microphone on in chambers? I just got a text.
We just turned it on.
Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we had a motion, a second to come back to chambers to open the meeting again. We do have a resolution that we discussed in executive session that has been brought to the floor and everyone has a copy. I will read it. We're authorizing the chair of the Cayuga County Legislature to amend the contract with our HR consultant to temporarily support the Human Resources Department with staffing needs. Whereas the Human Resources Department plays a critical role in the day-to-day operations of county government, and whereas the Director of Human Resources position is currently vacant, which has resulted in a decrease in resources within that department. And whereas the county has entered into a contract with Michael T. Russell as a consultant to assist the HR department until a vacant HR director position is filled. And whereas the contract is due to expire on November 30th, 2021, and HR director has not yet been hired, which is causing a continuing need for the consultant services. Now therefore be it resolved that the chair of the Cayuga County Legislature is authorized and directed to amend this contract with Mike Russell to extend the term of the contract to December 31st, 2021. Can I get a motion?
Move it. We're gonna amend it. We gotta move.
Can I get a second?
A second for discussion.
Okay, for discussion.
I'd like to propose an amendment that the term not to exceed 60 days.
I'll second.
Okay. For discussion.
The amendment was saying, if necessary.
That's fine with me.
Yes.
Right, so that would clarify that it's as needed
Once
up to
hired.
60 days. I agree.
So the addition is not to exceed 60 days as needed. We have,
So just to clarify, if someone's hired in 30, that's when it ends. If someone's hired in 45, that's when it ends.
that's right.
Oh, no, that's not what it says. It says it's needed, and that's gonna be open for interpretation, but that's generally the idea. But if there may be a decision, whoever's gonna make the as needed decision, they say as needed is 10 days after they're hired. I don't know.
We'll look to council to give us the proper wording of what we're intending to do.
Well, who's going to decide what's needed? Is it going to be up to the chair? Is it going to be up to the government apps committee?
Or we
HR
can,
generally falls under government apps.
sure, we can also state that until the position is filled or a candidate is selected. I'm just looking for wording from this group. Instead of saying as needed.
Whatever always works for
Once
me.
the hire's there, the contract should.
Right, I'm concerned, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Madam Chair. So I'm just, I guess I'm directed at council, what's the ambiguity as proposed? Is there ambiguity that I'm not?
Well, when you say as needed, who decides what's needed? Is it for this body to decide, or is it for the chair to decide? Is it for the committee to decide? What's that?
I just had a flashback to sixth grade, teaching sixth grade. Is that-
Good.
So how about until the position is filled? Because if the deputy can do like a week's worth of fill-in, so to speak, until from the time someone's hired to the time someone actually walks in the building, that would kind of clarify it, wouldn't it?
I do agree. Mark Strong?
I was just gonna say, maybe you could just word it as needed, not to exceed 60-day time period.
That's what was the
Is that-
proposal. I think Andy's proposal is to change the wording instead of until the position is filled. And as the president seconded, that's okay with me if it's okay with Heidi.
Yes.
And that's your idea, right? Hans?
So until the position is filled.
60 days or until.
No, until the position is filled.
Until it's filled.
Or come back. When it's not filled.
Okay, we'll add that, please.
Merry Christmas.
Can I get a motion on the amendment?
No, there's
Oh, sorry.
it's a friendly amendment. I'm accepting it, she's accepting it. So the motion becomes until the position is filled.
Okay,
On the amendment.
let's vote on this amendment
You
until
don't
the
have to vote
position
on
is
the
filled.
amendment. It's a friendly amendment. It's been accepted. Oh, she made an amendment. Never mind.
Yes.
Forgive me. I got all confused. You're right.
We'll follow it.
You're right.
So clarification, this is just open.
I'm sorry. You said? I
So
did.
some clarification, this is just open-ended then until the position is filled, if it takes until next July?
Yeah, it is. That's what it says. The point is, you guys can always come back next year and say, whoa, what the hell's happening here? Because if the position is not filled shortly, you got bigger problems than this temporary thing. So
We've had bigger problems for a long time.
So motion and a second on that amendment? Okay, let's vote on it amended as until the position is filled addition. Can I get an all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Whitman is opposed.
Can I get a motion on the resolution as amended?
Move it.
Second.
Discussion on the resolution as amended.
All question.
All in favor?
Aye. Motion adjourned.
Any opposed?
Second.
Opposed.
We had a motion to adjourn. Second, have a nice evening and happy Thanksgiving to everyone.